What is up, guys? It has been a long time since I've had a video up. I know it's been probably a couple of months at least since I had my last video up, and I'm sorry again. I say it seems like I say it every single video, but I've had probably the most difficult summer of my life, hands down. Before I go any further, I'm just going to preface by saying that I'm probably not going to have too much stuff about the Z in this video. I'll talk about it briefly at the end, but I'm going to be making another video right after this one to go into the Z a little bit more. But for this one, I just kind of wanted to explain what's been going on with me, why I haven't been uploading recently, and basically where I'm going from here. Long story short, in my last video I had briefly explained at the beginning of the video some of the things that I had been going through, mainly that my mother was suffering with cancer, and you know, in July, just shortly after I made that video, the second week of July, my mom passed away from cancer, and you know, it was kind of expected but not at the same time. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but she had battled cancer about 4 years ago, and she had beat it. She was a walking miracle. All of her doctors you know, said that it wasn't going to be possible for her to pull through the first time, and she did. And really, it's due to a number of reasons. You know, of course, we got the proper treatment, we got right on it and all that, but it's also because, and this is, I'm just going to speak for myself, and you know, I don't mean to offend anybody with what I say here, but I'm going to tell it like it is, how I feel. My family is a very faith-believing family. We're a God-fearing family, and we live our lives by faith in God. And so we just surrounded her in prayer and the power of prayer, and it totally knocked out the cancer 4 years ago. It just knocked it out. It was the most rare form of thyroid cancer that they had ever seen. The doctors that we took her to, they sent her to Stanford, which is a very well-known, very high expertise, high level of expertise place where they send patients that are of a particular level of severity. When it comes to cancers and illnesses, they'll send you out to Stanford to examine it and see what's going on. Well, they had sent her out to Stanford, and the doctors there just said they had never seen the type of cancer that she had, and it was very aggressive. And you know, they gave her 4 months at the time. Again, this was 4 years ago. And she just looked at the doctors right when they told her that and said, "I don't accept that curse. You know, I believe in the power of healing, and that God has more time for me on this earth." And the doctors were just kind of like, you know, that's great. We appreciate your sense of faith and your strength, your mental capacity and all that, but you know, we're telling it like it is, and you know, just you might want to arrange for some hospice care. But my mom just stayed steadfast and said, "No, you know, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to go through the proper procedures and all that," because she did trust the medical professionals. It's not like she was saying they didn't know what they were talking about or anything like that. It's just she lived her life to a different standard, straight up. So she went through chemo and radiation, but we just surrounded her in prayer, and she pulled out of it, man. She made a full recovery of the cancer the first time through, and the doctors just said it was impossible. There's no way she should have lived through that. Well, in the 4 years from that time to this July of 2017, she saw some of the most amazing things that she saw in her life, some of the most incredible things that she wanted to experience before she passed. Namely, my wife and I meeting and getting married was a huge thing for her. She really wanted to be a part of that. She was praying for a long time that the right one would come along for me, and that she would be able to be here for our wedding, and she was, which was just phenomenal. My wife and I have been married for 2 years now, and she was there for that. And the other major thing that she was able to accomplish in that 4-year span was my brother and his wife having a baby girl. My mom always wanted to be a grandma. She was waiting for so long. She would always bug my brother and I about it. When am I going to be a grandma? You know, she wanted to be grandma so bad. And so finally, just a little over a year ago now, she became a grandma. And there's just two major, huge things in her life that she wanted to see so badly, that God I choose to believe that God allowed her to see, you know, because like the doctor said, she shouldn't have been around. She should have only had 4 months at the maximum. They said that you'd be lucky if you had 4 months the first time she was diagnosed. And, you know, she lived another 4 years. And in that time was able to see those momentous occasions in our family, which to me, just, and again, I don't know where you guys are at, but this is just me saying that what I believe, that's just God all the way. You know, it was couldn't be more clear to me that there was a reason why he allowed her to pull out of that the first time, because of her faith and because of the prayer, and experience those major family events that were critically important to her. But jump a little later into February of this year, she started having difficulty breathing and going through some strange physical stuff. Again, she didn't know what was going on. She was going and getting checkups regularly, as the doctors recommended her to do. They do that for every patient that's ever suffered from cancer. They'll still have you come back just so they can check on you periodically. And so she was doing that. Up to February, she had been going every 2 or 3 weeks for checkups, and she was clean and clear every single time. They'd run their scans, their tests and everything, no cancer, nothing. Then in February, she went in for just a routine check, like she always did. Sorry if there's some noise, I got some neighbors doing some yard work. But anyway, she went in and they found just like a little mass on her lung. They were not worried about it at all. They said, we caught it really early. It's very small. It's no cause for concern, really. It's, you know, it's definitely not life-threatening. We should be able to take care of it, no problem. And so we weren't concerned about it. You know, we were still praying about it, and she wasn't worried. They did recommend to go ahead and start, you know, some chemotherapy and, you know, just some very light sessions of chemo. They didn't want to do radiation again, but they said, no, it's fine, it's small, it's not gonna cause any problems, we'll take care of it, you'll be fine. And long story short, from February, from the time they found that thing to July, she had advanced to stage 4 lung cancer. And it was uncontrollable. The doctors couldn't do anything. That's how fast it moved. And it was not related to the first cancer at all. It was a completely separate. As I said, the first one was a thyroid cancer, and the second one was a lung-based cancer. So it wasn't a relation at all between the two. My mom lived a healthy life, so it wasn't anything like that she did that caused it. She wasn't a heavy smoker or anything like that. Way back in the past, she smoked a little bit when she was young, but she quit and hadn't smoked for years and years and years. In fact, all of my life, I'm 32 years old, I never once saw my mom smoke a single cigarette. So she was 66 years old when she passed. But the most incredible thing is that while she was going through this, even after she was diagnosed and started having trouble breathing and stuff like that for the second time with cancer, all the while she just never lost her character, her faith, her strength. She never lost her incredible generosity, her incredible spirit. She did so much for so many people that I really couldn't even describe it. If I spent, you know, an hour in this video trying to describe all of what my mom was able to accomplish and do for so many people in this world, I couldn't fit it all into, you know, a super long video, because really it's indescribable everything that she did. And she lived her life according to the Word of God, according to the Bible. She was the greatest example of that I had ever seen in my life. You know, I grew up as a Christian and believing in God and having faith, but you know, there's been a lot of time, especially as I've gotten older, where I've gotten really loose with my walk. You know, I've not done the right things. I haven't been living right. You know, I you know, watched the wrong things or said the wrong things, got loose with my language. Basically what it boiled down to is I just wasn't regarding God like I should have been, like I was raised to do. I really got to the point where I didn't even realize how far I'd strayed away from God and my faith. And as I watched my mom go through this and yet remain so strong in her faith and give so much of herself to other people. I mean, she was on her little phone. She had an iPhone 4S. This little thing was so old and so crappy, like the speakers were blown out of it and it was just beat to crap, like the screen was coming off and everything. But she used that little iPhone to the day she died to minister to people on Facebook and Instagram and just all kinds of every source that she could think of. She was praying for people every single day. She wasn't complaining. She wasn't talking about herself or her own illness or anything like that. She never, ever did that. She was always on that phone every single day, blessing people and ministering and taking care of other people and just giving of herself non-stop, that it was almost like you could see that she gave so much of herself that it was almost like she gave her life force. Like literally, she gave her own life force for others. If you took a step back and you looked at it, that's literally what it looked like. She was blessing people and giving so much of her time and her energy. As you watched her progression to the time she died, it was literally like she gave her life to others. I just watched that happen, and it wasn't really until after she passed, after God took her, that I realized what was really going on. It hurt so badly when she passed. I can't even begin to describe to you guys how close with my mother I was and am still. She taught me everything I know. I mean, everything. I can't describe it. I was so close with her, incredibly close. And when she passed, my world just dropped. Like everything just stopped. I mean, everything, my car, the build, my YouTube videos, everything just stopped. My world ended for a little bit, and I was just done, dude. I was done. I took a couple weeks off of work. I wanted to take more time off, but I got to pay my bills. But that's how close I was with her. I just felt like it was over. There was nothing more for me to go on with. Beside my wife. My wife was a huge part. That's another thing, though. My wife was a huge part of my recovery. But a couple of weeks after she passed, God started talking to me, and I started realizing why He took her, and that's something I wasn't able to understand right away. You know, I was angry. I wasn't necessarily angry at God, because I believed in God, and I've always believed in Him, and I knew that His will was right all the time, and we shouldn't argue with it. I knew that God was the only one who had the right to take my mom, but I still didn't understand. I didn't understand what reason God would have to take my mom, you know, and she was only 66, and she'd already beat cancer once, you know, and I wasn't even considering all the things that God showed her in that 4 years at the time. I just didn't see any rhyme or reason to it. But again, it was after a couple of weeks that He just hit me with everything that He allowed her to see in that 4-year time span. And probably even more impactful than that, He revealed to me that in taking her, it was all a part of His plan to wake me up. And not just me, but my entire family, my dad and my brother and his wife and my wife. All of us had really strayed so far from God. We still believed in God. We still had the faith in Him, but it was just we weren't doing the things we should have done. I wasn't reading my Bible every day like I should have been. I wasn't following the Word. I was just loose. Like I said, I was just way too loose. And He hit me and said, hey, I want you to stop and realize that your mother was the greatest example that you will ever see in your physical life there on earth, of somebody who followed me, who was after my heart, who meant what she said, who believed every word of what she said and followed it to a T. She finished her race. She went through everything that I had her to do on the earth. She finished it, and she blessed so many people and took care of so many people. And I want you to understand and see that I took her when I did because she finished her part. And now I want you to see that you still have race left to finish. You have to continue the race because you're not done yet. And I want this to be a wake-up call for you to pick yourself up off the ground and realize that I took your mom because she finished her race, and I have the right to take her, and she deserved to be free of pain and all that, because she was suffering in the end. She was really suffering. And it goes so much deeper than what I'm describing, but again, it would be impossible for me to fully describe what I've been going through in the last couple months. My life has turned back around again, and like I said, I don't know where you guys are at, and I don't mean to offend anybody. If you don't believe what I'm saying, that's perfectly fine, and I may lose some subscribers for even talking about this, and that's cool, but I'm telling you guys what it is with me. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in what He did on the cross, and I have seen it firsthand. And the things that I've seen in the last 2 months, I have seen and heard angels. Like literally, I was watching, a few weeks after my mom died, my dad and I were watching YouTube videos about heaven, people who have visited heaven and hell and stuff, because we were so curious about what mom could be seeing right now, in heaven. Yeah, we started watching YouTube videos just about accounts of people that have had heaven visitations and hell visitations. And as we were watching one of these videos, my dad is kind of a jokester. He likes to just crack little wise things, little funny things here and there. And we were watching this one particular video, and it was just basically somebody explaining they visited heaven, and they were explaining what they were seeing and all that. But in the video, it was just showing different slides, different pictures of like paintings and artwork that people have drawn of like angels and like heaven and stuff like that. Just random pictures that were going as the guy was talking. Basically, they just needed a background, so they were just doing a slideshow of like artistic interpretations of heaven and stuff. Well, one of these pictures came up, and it was a picture of an angel just kind of standing there, and he was like a really good-looking guy, and super good, like GQ quality, like really nice, like brown hair and the smile and like the armor and like holding the staff and everything and the wings, just like perfect life stuff. And we're watching this thing, and my dad says, "Do you think Jesus looked anything like that?" Like fully sarcastic. That's just the kind of guy he was, just making jokes like that. Just as he said that, I was sitting on the couch, and my dad was to the right of me, just a little in front of me, in the rocking chair. He said that to me, and just as he said that, like behind me, behind the couch, and like up about 10 feet, I knew exactly where it was coming from. Just after my dad said that, I heard this laugh. And I can't describe it. It was definitely a laugh, but it was in a voice that was like super surround sound. Like I can't describe it. It was like an echo, but like a powerful, and it was a laugh for like 1 second, like like that. And it came from like right behind me, like 10 feet. And me and my dad were the only ones in the room. There was nobody else in there at the time. And it was like clear as day, just like there was somebody behind me, and it came from like 10 feet up, or like way high. And I turned around. I was like, what the heck was that? It was wild, man. I said, "Dad, stop the video real quick." And he stopped it. And I got up and I was looking around, and I was like creeped out for a second. And then it just hit me like right away what I just heard. It was an angel that was there with us, and he laughed at my dad's wisecrack. I was just absolutely astonished, because I've seen and experienced little things like that here and there in my life. I've been closer to God than at other times, but that was one of the most clear, straight up things that I'd ever experienced in my life. I mean, I straight up heard an angel laugh, and my dad had been praying consistently, really hard, for any kind of sign, just for a revival to take place. And that's right when we were starting to experience, God was starting to talk to us so much about why He took Mom, and just make sense of everything in our lives. And this all started coming in. Like I heard the laugh, I started seeing angels and like white spirits, almost is the best way I can describe it, moving around me in the last couple of months, and just feeling a presence, a peaceful presence, not an evil presence, but a peaceful presence as we're praying for this. And I can feel my mom so strong still. And so I'm just telling you guys what I'm feeling. Like, I don't make this stuff up. Like, I don't have time to make up stories and stuff like that. I really don't. It's just so phenomenal. The last 2 months of my life have just been crazy. Like, everything stopped, and I feel like I've just been rebooted, just like I had to just take a break from everything, and just everything just kind of switched over. I've been seeing and hearing things and experiencing things and feeling things, and my dad has actually been communicating with my mom in a sense. He's actually been able to pray, and he's having dreams and communications with her that are just astonishing. Some of the things he's described are absolutely unbelievable. He couldn't make them up if he tried. And I know my dad, so one of those things, after I heard that laugh, he said, I'm going to try to ask Mom about that. I'm going to see what's going on. And so it took a while. It took about a week after that happened before he finally came to me really early in the morning, and he said, I actually was able to ask Mom about the angel, about what you heard, and she told me that what I heard was the angel that's been assigned to our family. And she even said that his name is Agoni, A-G-O-N-I is what his name is, and he's been assigned to our family. I'm not making this up, and my dad doesn't make this up either. He's not that type of guy. He's just not. So I'm like, I've been living basically a rebooted life for like the last 2 months. I've come back really closer to God, and again, I don't know where you guys are at, but I'm telling you, this stuff is real. I'm not playing around. I know so many different people, and I've talked to so many different people, and I've seen so many different walks of life. I'm a hairdresser by trade, and I've met so many different people. I've been doing it for almost 8 years. So many different walks of life have come and gone, have come into my chair, and I've talked, and I know about every different kind of religion that there is. I know a lot of stuff about this, and I'm telling you, the only one thing that is consistent, the only one thing that makes true when you do your homework is Jesus Christ. I mean, that's all there is to it. There's nothing else that everything else has got holes. There's plot holes. Everything else you can dissect, you can pick it apart, but you can never pick apart the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's impossible, and I challenge you to try and do it. And I'm a skeptic type. I really am. I'm the type that I say, hey man, I gotta find out for myself if this is true. I don't believe what anybody says right off the top. I have to delve into it. In the matters regarding my soul, when it comes to a matter that's regarding something as important as where my soul goes when I die, and my spirit, that's an important thing for me. Like, that's important enough for me to do whatever homework I need to do in order to find out what's true. And in that regard, I have looked into everything. I've looked into every religion, and I've even heavily studied the religions in Japan. My wife is from Japan, and I've spent a lot of time over in Japan. I've gone to a lot of the religious temples. I've gone to and experienced, and I've gotten a taste of that. And just everything comes back to Christ. Everything comes back to Jesus Christ. It is the only true gospel when you put it up against every single reality in life. And I'm not saying that to try to preach to you guys. I'm just saying what I've experienced and what I know. I never intended on making this video. Like, as I've been doing my build on my Z and everything, like, this was not a part of my plan at all. But I have to tell it the way it is. I have to tell it the way I see it. And I don't intend on this channel becoming like a God channel. Like, if that's where it goes, then that's going to be God that's going to have to take it in that direction, and that's going to be up to Him, not up to me. Because I know there's a lot of you guys following this, if you're still watching this video at all, still following this channel because of my Z, and I appreciate that so very much. This car has been a blessing from the Lord, in my opinion, to enable me to be able to meet and reach out to a lot of you guys, and I'm appreciative of that. But I didn't intend on making this video and even talking about this stuff, and maybe again, that's because I wasn't living my life right. I was real loose with my faith, and I wasn't considering God. I will say that up until the time that my mom died, I wasn't even praying in the morning. Like, I'd get up, and I'd either just get up and go right to work, or I'd get up and I'd go right out into the garage and start working on my Z, and I wasn't even waking up and talking to God and getting in my Word and praying. And that's just, to me, I didn't even realize what I was doing. I was like, just living my own life. I believed in God, but I was like, yeah, I believe in God on my own terms, pretty much, which is garbage for me to even say that right now, because God is such an important thing. He's the most important thing. I mean, for real, guys, this is not a game. It's not a game. This is your soul and your spirit that we're talking about. Probably the most important thing that you can possibly consider. So you need to do your homework. We can't do this life thing on our own. I'm sorry. I don't care how much you think you know, or how much money you have, or how much fame or fortune or whatever. It will never amount to enough. There's more to this life. That's all I know. There's more to this life. And the only thing that you're going to find the answer in is Jesus Christ. That's coming from me. That's what I've experienced. That's what I've learned. It's the only thing that's fulfilled me. Everything else is just temporary. Everything's going to go. Even the cars, everything, it's all temporary. But if you give glory to God, man, it changes your life. It changes everything. My mom was the greatest example of that, and I really didn't even realize it. It was right in front of me the whole time, and that's what God told me. He said, I took her and I had the right to do that, and you didn't even realize what you had right in front of you. Get your life together. Get your stuff together. It was just like a slap in the face. And he said, yo, I love what you do. I love your passion. I even love your car, God told me in my heart. I felt him say that. I love what you're doing with your car, but put me first, man. It's not a game. This is not a game. And so anyways, I'm going to probably wrap this video up right here. And like I said, I am going to make another video right after this one while I still have some light out, talking about some developments on the Z and stuff. I had put the project away for quite a while. I didn't start working on it again until probably about a week ago. I didn't touch the car. You know, my life just turned right upside down, and I lost focus on the car, but I needed to. I needed a wake-up call, and God gave me that. He hit me right in the face and said, yo, wake up, you know, get your stuff together, start following me. So now every morning when I wake up, I pray right away. I get up and I start talking to God. I bring all my worries, all my concerns, everything to him first thing in the morning. You know, I bring them to him and I say, hey, this is what I'm waking up with today, Lord. Take it away from me, or give me the strength to walk through it. You know, if you want me to deal with what I'm dealing with, then give me the strength to deal with it. And I'll just give him every single situation. I'll give him everything. You know, I'm getting ready to go to work, and I might face some new challenges at work today. I give you those challenges, Lord. Or if it's a day off and I plan on just coming out and working on the car, I'll even just give him that. You know, I give him everything. I say, God, I plan on working on my car. Help me work on my car, you know, help me make progress with my car, and make the right decision, use the right sandpaper, or whatever, you know. And he even helps me with that. I have noticed, even in the last week as I started picking up the project again in the garage, God's given me wisdom, what to do, how to make adjustments and stuff, when before I was just on automatic pilot, just trying stuff and failing and all that. But now I feel like I have a clarity, almost like I have a helper now. It's amazing. It's really amazing. You guys should try it for sure. If you don't know God, or if you're searching for something, if you're just empty, give God a try. Give God a try. You know, I'm not saying start going to church every weekend. I'm not saying all this and all that. What I'm saying is just try to talk to God. That's all. Because before, like I said, I wasn't talking to God. I was just getting up and doing my thing, and I wasn't satisfied at the end of the day, or I went to bed more weary than I was when I got up. So now my life has changed again. I've turned around. I'm talking to God. I'm in my Bible, and it's helped me so much. It's helped me tremendously. There was a while there that I wasn't even planning on coming back to YouTube. I was thinking, I don't think I can even do it. My mom passed, and I was done. I was like, I just don't even have the will anymore. I don't think I can even talk to people anymore, because I was so close to her that I just didn't feel like I had it in me. And then God told me, I want you to go back on YouTube and continue doing what you're doing. And he told me he's proud of me for doing this. And that just does something to you, man. And if you're doing it on your own, if you're trying to live life on your own, and you say, yeah, I don't need God, I don't need this, I don't need that. Christians are crazy people, and there are some crazy people who call themselves Christians. Just because people call themselves Christians doesn't mean they're doing the right thing at all. And I've had to learn that explicitly. I've had to learn that just calling yourself a Christian and just saying you believe in God, it ain't enough. And you can pray all you want, but if you don't do what the Bible says, if you don't live your life according to the Word of God and do what He says, it's not enough. You can pray all you want, it's not going to reach Him, okay? It's not. God specifically gave me this image. I was standing in a field, and I had a pipe coming from my head, and it was going straight up into the sky, up through the clouds. And I could see myself praying in that field. I was praying. you know, about whatever it would have been. I don't know. And I could see my prayers going through that tube. It was a transparent tube. I can see through it. And I could see my prayers coming from my head and going through that tube. And it was going up into the heavens, but then it was blocked. There was like a clog in the pipe, like in the middle of the pipe. And my prayers hit that clog, and they couldn't get through. They couldn't get through, and they started coming back down to me. And then they come up again, they hit that clog, and then they go back down to me. And God just hit me with what that was, like immediately. He told me, that clog is the way you're living your life. Because you're not doing the things you know you should be doing, you're not regarding me, your prayers cannot even reach me. It's not that I'm not answering your prayers. It's not that I don't want to answer your prayers. It's that you are blocking your own prayers by your disobedience, by your disregard. Okay? This is the kind of seriousness that he hit me with all at once. There's no way I could have even imagined that was happening at the time. And he used the most devastating thing that I could have ever imagined in my life, and that's the passing of my mother, to wake me up and tell me that. So anyways, I say all this to just tell you guys where I've been, where I'm at, and to tell you that I've been blessed through hardship. I've been blessed. I lost my mom, but I know where she is. I know I'm going to see her again. Without God, I could not say that. You know, without my faith and without knowing in my heart what Jesus did on the cross, I wouldn't be able to say that I know I'm going to see my mom again. I probably wouldn't be able to even make this video. I wouldn't be able to come back to YouTube. I may not even be able to continue my project if I did not know God. And so, whatever that does for you guys, whatever what I'm saying means to you guys, I love you all. I really do. I wish you all the best at whatever you're doing, and I appreciate you all so very much for following this channel and following this build. I pray and hope that you do continue to follow me and you're not weirded out by what I'm saying. Again, I'm just telling you the way I feel and a little more about myself. The build is definitely going to continue at this point. I'm very inspired to continue. As I said, I've been working for about the past week, and I will make another video right away and show you guys what I've done. You may see that there's a little bit of a difference in that flare there than the last time I showed you guys, and that is because I did widen it out just a little bit. So they're about 63.5 millimeter, about 2.5 inches wide now, so a little wider. I decided I wanted to go a little bit wider, but that's going to be for the next video. I will go over what I've done so far and what I'm in the process of doing and show you guys what I'm up to. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you're all doing well. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything, or you just want to respond to me or what I'm saying, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I welcome all comments, positivity, criticism, whatever you want. Go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. I'm not afraid of anything, so go ahead. I don't mind. And if you want to unsubscribe from this channel, God bless you. I don't care. That's cool. You do your thing. I understand. All I can say is that pay some mind to what's really important. Okay? We don't just disappear when we die from this world. We don't just disappear. We are made up of 3 parts: our physical body, our soul, and our spirit. And the only thing that goes away when we die is our physical body. Our spirit and our soul remains. And there's only one of 2 places that's going to go. Okay? We don't reincarnate. We don't come back as a bug or a snake or a bird or a tree. It doesn't happen. There's 2 places. There's heaven and there's hell. God didn't make hell for us, but it's where we go when we disregard God. So, in my opinion, the matter of my soul and my spirit is important. All right? It's important to me. So, do some homework if you really want to know what's up. You'll find out for yourself. If you're actually serious about it, you'll find out. I don't need to tell you. You'll find out. But anyways, God bless you guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, I thank you very much. I will see you guys soon, I promise. I'm going to make a video about the Z. I'll talk to you guys later.